Methods of increasing appropriate behavior. Typically, when we think of behavior management, problem behaviors of children in school come to mind. Our typical reaction is how to stop or eliminate those behaviors and eventually punish the doer. Too often, we ignore students when they behave appropriately and are doing what we ask them to do because we give too much attention to students who are disrupting the class. Teachers should realize that the essence of behavior management is to promote appropriate behavior to a desirable one. All students exhibit some appropriate behaviors throughout the day. To maintain appropriate behaviors, students should be reinforced when they engage in desired behavior rather than receive attention when they misbehave. Students who receive attention for inappropriate behavior will soon learn to behave poorly because they have been reinforced. As teachers, we must pay more attention to desirable behaviors rather than watch and catch misbehavior. There are several means the teacher can increase the probability of occurrence of or can strengthen, maintain appropriate behaviors. The basic operation involves the use of reinforcements. A reinforcement is the process of presenting any stimulus that maintains or increases the behavior exhibited immediately prior to the presentation of the stimulus. The stimulus presented is called reinforcer. These methods are positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, and shaping. Positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is the contingent presentation of a stimulus following the display target behavior, resulting to an increase or a strengthening of the frequency, duration, and intensity of the target behavior. For example, John has been observed to turn in incomplete work. Whenever he turns in a complete work, he is given extra time in the PlayStation. The time in the PlayStation is a reinforcer presented contingently to the target behavior. The reinforcers can come in forms of edibles and hugs, verbal praise such as nice writing, and high preferenced activities or tokens which can be exchanged for a primary or secondary reinforcers. Here are other reinforcers you can use. Tangible. Examples: edibles, stars, toys, check marks or points, stickers, smileys, special materials like colored pencils, eraser, and the like. Social. For example, verbal praise, having work displayed, model student tag, leader of the day, first in line. Activities, examples: check attendance, pass out materials, run errands, read a story, helping teacher with classroom chores, time on computer, extra time for play. To get the best results from the use of positive reinforcement, you should observe the following guidelines. Number 1, reinforcement should be delivered immediately after the target behavior during the initial intervention. Later, the time interval between the behavior and reinforcement may be increased. 2, combine a secondary reinforcer with a primary reinforcer during the initial use of the former. For example, good job is presented with an edible. The learned association between the secondary and primary reinforcers will increase the reinforcement properties of verbal praise. Number 3, consider the social validity of reinforcers. Social acceptability of reinforcers will depend on the student's culture, age, sex, and the specific situation. A piece of chocolate bar may be socially acceptable for young children, but socially unacceptable to older ones. Stickers may be socially valid for children who have more than enough food on the table, but socially not valid for children from disadvantaged settings. 4. Use a different reinforcer for each target behavior. A single reinforce may lose its appeal due to satiation. What may be reinforcing one day may not be reinforcing another day, even with the same student. 5. Shift from primary to secondary reinforcers as soon as possible. If you must use them, edibles must be minimally presented and in a variety of forms. Negative reinforcement. Negative reinforcement is perhaps the most misunderstood of all behavioral operation because of the word negative. Unlike positive reinforcement, where the stimulus is presented, negative reinforcement is the contingent removal of a stimulus following a target behavior in order to strengthen the behavior or make likely to occur again. Usually, the removed stimulus is a disliked or aversive stimulus. It is not a punishment to reduce or eliminate the target behavior. Instead, it increases the target behavior. For example, Ken would not sit at the dining table if he sees a vegetable dish. Because we want Ken to sit at the table while eating, we remove the vegetable dish, which may be the aversive stimulus. Another example is a boy who stops going to school for fear of a bully in his section. The teacher transferred him to another section to avoid the bully. His transfer to the other section, removing him from an aversive stimulus, made him go back to school again. Shaping. Shaping is the systematic, immediate reinforcement of successive approximation of the target behavior until the behavior is established. Shaping is used to introduce a new behavior or to increase the rate of an infrequent exhibited behavior. The target behavior is successively arranged in smaller tasks, and reinforcement is delivered immediately upon completing each small task. The completion of a small task leading to the target behavior is termed approximation. During the behavior shaping process, only those exhibited behaviors that most closely approximate the target behavior are reinforced. Another consideration in the shaping process is how long to provide reinforcement at one level of performance before moving to the next level. Caution should be taken as the child may become so rigid at one level and may have difficulty to move to the next level, and the desired behavior cannot be completed at all. Tasks that may look simple to the ordinary person may be complex for individuals with special needs. Examples include cooking rice, bathing, bed making, brushing teeth, and washing hands. These complex tasks should be analyzed and broken into discrete steps. Each discrete step becomes a link in a chain and taught individually. Example, the first step is taught to the individual first, followed by the second link, and so on until all the steps are linked in a series to complete the desired behavior.